This is Jeff Peterson, and this is the Interstate of Music podcast. And with me for this podcast is Eddie Eberly of Eddie and the Getaway. And all the way up from, now Nashville.
Yep.
So why Nashville? I'm gonna ask the really blatantly effing obvious question, like, why are you in Nashville?
Dude, so I moved from Arizona about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I just felt like I was still going to Arizona State for school. So it was
Okay,
my sophomore year.
stop. Okay, so you're going to Arizona State, and you graduated from Arizona State?
In May. So I just graduated.
You just graduated.
Yep.
So why aren't you going for your masters and then your extra masters and then your 17th masters? People don't leave Arizona State. You have to stay in Arizona State until you're at least 42.
That is very true. You know, if it wasn't for music, yes, I'll be doing my victory laps like a motherfucker. I promise you that.
I love it. So when you went to Arizona State, though, what were you thinking you wanted to do? Because Arizona State's not exactly known for music.
No, yeah, that's true. So I ended up, I was either going to go to Belmont in Nashville because I'd heard that's an awesome school to go to for music, or just get, the degree because my grandma wanted me to get a degree. So I was like, all right, Grams, I'll hit you with the papers, but then I'm going to do music, which is cool. So she was like, all right, as long as you get that thing, you know what I mean? So I did it for kind of my family and stuff. And then ended up moving my sophomore year, and then the pandemic hit. And I got lucky, so all my school got put online. So I got to finish it in Nashville, which is cool. So I got a little head start doing that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what did you learn educational-wise? As far as going to school, what did you get out of it? And I'm not talking about coursework. What did you get as far as the experience that kind of helped you where you are now, whether it's helped you get there or helped you know what you couldn't slide back into?
Well, you want the honest answer?
Yeah, I want the honest answer.
I figured out how to drink to the point of passing out without passing out. And that's actually been a big plus in my life.
This
as
is
music.
You're not going to put it on your LinkedIn profile,
no,
but
definitely not.
That is
maybe in the extended bio version. I might put in the credits down there. Big credits, Arizona State, drinking profusely without passing out. Signed, sincerely, Eddie.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That is, from now on, I'm always gonna ask for the honest answer because the honest answer is way better than what I thought was gonna come out. So that's good. What is your, other than Liquid Death?
Yeah.
What is your drink of choice? This is sponsorship opportunity.
Sponsorship? Oh my goodness.
What's your drink of choice?
Okay.
Are you a beer guy? Are you
I love beer, but also Mountain Dew seltzers that they just made.
So good.
The greatest thing ever.
They seriously
the Baja
are.
Blat, dude.
They legit. Okay, so I was actually, God, where was I? It was only in so many states. So I was traveling for work, and it just launched, and I was in a state that had it, and I went and I bought a 12-pack or whatever it was. It looks just like the regular cases. So if kids are walking through, they could easily grab that and go home. So they're amazing,
incredible.
You can drink a ton of that stuff. Yeah, it's so good, so good. Shout out Mountain Dew for throwing a little something in there.
There you go.
So you're in Nashville. Do you travel back and forth to Arizona much at all?
Not a whole lot. So there's not a huge. The thing that Arizona doesn't have that Nashville has is the community when it comes to music.
Okay.
I had a community when I was doing music, but in Arizona, but it was kind of more. It was you could either do super hard metal,
okay,
or you could do EDM, and there wasn't a whole lot of that pop rock country.
Is that because of the college student influence of what they were looking for to go out and just?
I think so, and it's a weird thing. Arizona loves to have music that is out of somewhere else to come in. There's a thing or something like that. So I felt figuring out, who I was as an artist, and that was kind of the thing of my story of getting, I had a record deal opportunity right out of high school, and then I had a couple more throughout my first 2 years of college.
How did you get exposed to labels at all in high school to get some kind of an offer at age 18?
Yeah.
What were you doing to get that?
I was playing a lot, so I started playing in bars when I was 13.
Okay.
And then just kind of went from there, and then started working with a guy named Johnny K, who was my first like real producer I ever worked with, and he did like stuff from like Disturbed to Three Doors Down, Plain White Tees, like a lot of
Yep.
Grammy nominated, awesome dude. And kind of like taught me a lot when it comes to like with songwriting,
Okay.
like the type of in depth you have to go. And being that like my favorite artists are like Tom Petty and Bruce Springsteen and those like classic songwriters.
I mean, I'm 54, so that is like my wheelhouse right
Yeah,
there.
I saw you
That is
smiling
it.
a
That
little
is
bit.
it. I'm like, that is it. 100%.
Yeah.
So so when you were that age, were you basically just singing cover songs and somebody wanted to sign you because they thought they could get songwriting done for you because they liked your vibe, your voice, or were you writing?
I was writing. So I got signed off of I didn't take the deal, but I got the offer off of one song. It's called Wild American Boys. I'll be playing tonight, actually.
That's awesome.
But that song's still not out. So I wrote that when I was 17, and then we got the label deal when I was just graduated from high school, and then a couple other ones for this other song called California Runaway that I'll play tonight too.
Did it go viral or something, or somebody just
It
randomly heard it?
It was so Johnny had sent it to a guy named he was an A&R at the label, and then he had shown it to the head of the label, and they were like, heck yeah, we want to sign him. So they flew us out to New York. Long story short, my like bassist had like wasn't able to go because he went to like Disneyland with his girlfriend instead. So it was this whole
Life
thing.
choices,
Life choices for sure. Which was totally cool. I was like, all right, that's fine, bro. So we ended up like meeting with them, and it was really about like me sticking to my guns. And like I've even had, some Nashville labels trying to sign, but it was really like picking country or rock. And back, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it wasn't, you couldn't do both. And it was like you had to prove it up first. So I took the route of, all right, I'm not going to choose one or the other because that's not authentic. Because where I grew up in Arizona, it was like you go to the left and you have like, 10 minutes down the road, it's like horse ranches and everyone's like super Southern. And then to the right, it's all like boob jobs and facelifts.
Yep.
Like city life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I also don't know how like explicit I'm alled to get on here. Should I not say it?
No,
Okay, cool.
So whatever. We'll
All right.
beep whatever if
We'll
we
beep
have to.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But it's just authentic for me to like figure out like who I am as an artist, and through that process, I feel like now the music I'm making is truly me, and it is that crossover. And I've seen it with reactions on TikTok and just responses to the songs I've been releasing recently.
So when you moved to Nashville and you started like playing and playing out, how tough was it to even start? Like everybody and their brother is like, and sister is going to Nashville to give it a shot.
Yeah.
So what is it like? You make that decision to go. Sure, you went, you got there, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. No,
So
it's true.
what was that initial struggle and challenge, and how quickly did you feel as though, okay, I'm living in Nashville for the right reasons. I'm here.
Yeah.
It's kind of working the way I had in my head. How long did that take?
Dude, honestly, the first year of Nashville was like really like second guessing the whole time because like I moved, we had a college tour booked. And me and my drummer at the time moved out there, and we played our first show up in Ohio, and it was like March 12th. It was the greatest night ever. It was like, dude, we're gonna do this thing, man. And then next day, get the phone call, hey, the rest of the tour is canceled. COVID hit, whatever that was. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But then that next year of kind of figuring out like, what do we do? It was like, and then he ended up moving back. So it was really just like me on my own trying to figure out, all right, I need to like, I knew one person in Nashville when I moved, and I couldn't meet anybody for that whole year.
Right.
Which was really tough. But I think it like gave me the opportunity to really figure out like why I was doing music. And even though it was like doubtful of like, I'm in this town and I don't know anybody, like how do you even get to that point of touring or meeting people, working with the right producers or writers and stuff. But it kind of gave me the reassurance of like, yeah, like if I can get through this like fully by myself at 19 years old and like figure out a way to like make money and, like sustain that and keep writing and stuff.
Right.
It really was like a year almost to the day that I met like one of my best friends. His name's Bo Bailey. And he's an awesome writer. And it was really like meeting him was the like the switch that I needed to like
kind of connected all the dots and it made sense to you.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in Nashville and you just get there and the switch just gets flipped on you, did you immediately jump into, because you're strong on social media, that you've got a strong TikTok game, the rest of it. Did you jump on that right away, or was that something that you feel that you were late to the game? Like
I
how did
feel like I was definitely late. Like it was August of last year, so like a year from today.
Yep.
I was like, all right, I gotta do something that's gonna be like more than just being like a live performer. Because
Yep.
at the end of the day, it was like these TikTok artists that were blowing up. They
Yep.
were getting all the shows.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna figure it out. So I had no following a year ago. I had like 2,000 followers on Instagram and nothing on TikTok.
Yep.
And then since then, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna figure out how to just do the dang thing. And it was cool because I'd met people that had done it.
So they were coaching you a little bit,
Yeah,
helping
they were
you.
just kind of like the biggest thing was like find stuff that like is really you.
Yeah.
And what I realized is like it takes a lot of time before, but I just like made a promise to myself like I'm gonna post every day and make music that feels authentic to me. And it seems to be like just now starting to catch and roll, which is nice to know that I'm not just crazy to think it, you know?
So other than music, what does Nashville feel like to you?
Yeah.
Other than music?
Dude, it really is like home, which is weird because it didn't feel like that for the first year and a half. And then being here now 2.5 years in Nashville.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just gotten like just the best friends that are doing the same thing as I am. Like whether it's like one of my buddies, Bailey Zimmerman or David J, Gavin Lucas, like these guys who are writers and artists that have just really done it and are doing it. And then being surrounded by them and just kind of coming from a very like friendship basis and then things working out, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing is like, I've got that like group of people that like I can rely on and they can rely on me, which has been the biggest thing.
Well, and you hear horror stories about any industry, but the music industry, you know, people are just trying to figure out how they can personally make it, how they can grab onto this, grab onto that, make money off of this person or that person. You hear about that. I know some of it's real. I know some of it's probably blown out of proportion. But in the end, to find that circle of friends that literally have your back, that you can call up and you can bounce something off of them, and you're going to get a real reaction so that you're not going down this road, wasting your time on something because they're like, Eddie, no, that's no good, man.
Yeah,
no,
no,
good.
it is. They do
terrible.
hold me accountable, which is great. Like, my buddy David, he's an awesome artist. He's had multiple songs, you know, with millions of streams and stuff. And he's younger than me. He's 18. He's very young.
How'd you guys meet?
So I was doing this thing called the 615 House. And my buddy Chris Rudiger, who's the head of it, called me up. He's like, "Hey man, we're doing like the season 2 of it. You know, we'd love to have you be part of it." And I was like, "Heck yeah," because I'd always wanted to be a part of it because that's what got me going was seeing their videos and seeing those artists make careers totally independent.
It's funny because when I was so when I got acquired Interstate Music, legitimately I jumped on TikTok and started paying attention. I'm 54 years old and I'm on TikTok and telling people in my office that are 23, 24, 25 about TikTok.
Wow.
And it was one of those things, that's where I started to follow artists and up and coming artists. And that's where I started to see like stuff that you were putting out there. And then I started to tie into that 615 House thing. I think the individual artists, even before the 615 House even was a thing. And it was cool what was going on. And you could see a whole bunch of people just sitting there being themselves, putting their music out there and taking the reactions and taking the punches, you know, and just letting it go. And that 615 House, I mean, that's blown up.
Yeah, it's huge now. It's crazy.
So,
but I met David through that, basically. He came and slept on originally my couch, and then I had bunk beds. So he's like, "Dude, can I crash for a weekend?" And it turned into 5 months. And we were bunk bedding it like the Step Brothers, like literally like Step Brothers for 5 months. And then I was like, "All right, bro, like
like you got to pay for that pillow."
Right, you know what I mean? So he got one of our roommates moved out, and he got the room. And then, but it was super cool, like, with him, something that really helped me, like, elevate my career was putting out a song with him. And that just came from, like, us literally, like, I have videos, which is funny. I'll show you. It's funny.
Because he's country.
Yeah, he's country. He's a pop country, yeah.
So I mean, again, when you are kind of deciding what your genre is, what lane you're going down, I mean, that's an interesting mix, but a logical one for where music is going.
Yeah, and it's cool, too, because I think what I love about country compared to some of the other genres is that it's such like it was very exclusive, but I feel like now country is such an umbrella to where like if you just believe in like being a good person, like you can fit into country music, which is super sick. And that's kind of what I learned from like whether it's David or Bailey or you know Gavin, any of these guys that are doing it on like a real level, like having Billboard big songs, is like taking the parts that you love about the different genres
Yep.
and just being truthful with it.
And it's crazy because as we've had artists come through and play on the stage, every single artist that's come through and just because we've gotten strong ties into Nashville through the people that have come here because they are legitimately unbelievable human beings. And they're so generous and so nice, introducing and telling other people to come here and, calling them on the phone when I'm standing next to them. I just feel as though you're right. They're so real, down to earth, and they're not in competition with anybody.
Yeah.
You never feel like they're like trying to hold back secrets from you or
Totally
anything
true.
like that. They want you to succeed beyond where they are.
For
And
sure.
I think it's just a vibe.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
real.
it speaks volumes about like you too, man. It's like what you're creating here is like such a like. I mean, I was telling you earlier today. Is like I got here and I was like, dude, I still don't believe this is too good. Like it's too good to be true. Like you having like Mitch drive us up overnight because I couldn't get off like what I was doing last night.
Yeah.
Driving us up 9.5 hours to get here because you believe in the artists you're working with, and like that's gonna make everyone believe in what you're doing too.
Oh,
Like it's
that's
awesome,
that
dude.
goosebump. Eddie. What the
Well, it's
hell?
true, dude. Like I feel so lucky to be here. To be honest.
And it's funny because everybody here at Interstate Music, the bright spot of their job is literally when the artists come through and they get
So
a
cool.
chance to meet them and kind of help anybody that comes through have an experience that they're always going to remember at some point, and they're going to be able to talk about it and say something, and they're just hanging out. They're
Yeah.
literally there's no extra intention to it. It's just giving a platform, giving you an experience to come in here and share your music in front of a bunch of people that are here to actually listen to you
Yeah.
versus so many times that you're playing in a bar. And I owned a bar for 7 years, so I get it,
Yeah.
and I brought in original music into my bar, and it would drive me crazy that people are just sitting there talking to each other, laughing and having
Yeah.
their own world while you've got this artist up there that it's busting their ass to try to entertain
Yeah.
them with something that's coming from them that's original, and they're putting it out there, and it would drive me crazy. So one of the big things here is it's VIP invite only. So
Yeah.
the people that are coming here because they want to see new music, new artists, and it's been a cool journey for us because we get a chance to kind of experience your guys' journeys.
Yeah. No, it's super awesome, man. I'm really excited for just everything that you guys are doing here.
So what's next for you? What do you want to be next, and what do you think is actually like really close that you're going to be doing? And then where do do you want to be a big touring artist? Do you want to be a singer-songwriter that's helping others? Do you want to what's that combination of who you want to be?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, like in the most non-cocky way possible. Like I want to be the biggest artist possible. You know what I mean? Like
If you're not striving to be that,
yeah.
what the hell are you waking up in
Damn
the morning
right,
for?
yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But yeah, dude. I mean, it's for music. It's always been like I know some people get into music for either the girls or like the fame part or the fun part, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for me, like music has always been like about connecting with people, and that's something that TikTok has allowed me to do
Yep.
in a time where you weren't allowed to tour.
Yep.
And just like getting messages of like songs that you release, then people DMing. Like I've had so many messages, and they're like heavy messages where it's like, "Yo, not sure if I was gonna make it this week."
Yeah.
But because of hearing your song, like it gave me hope, and it's like holy crap,
So it's funny you just bring up a similar story. So Austin Giorgio, who's played here,
great
who
guy.
I saw him on The Voice, I think it's 2018 or whatever, and I was following him, and I kept following his story, and all of a sudden, boom, he started popping up on TikTok. So I started reaching out to him, just like I was reaching out to you and trying to get you to pay attention to me. And hey,
It's
just
'cause what you're doing-
some old guy stalking you over here. Pay no attention to me. I swear, I really am. I'm not weird.
Well,
I'm not creepy.
no, it's because what you're doing is it sounds too good to be true. It's literally like what you guys are doing here is so never been done. It's
Yeah.
like you guys are doing it for the right reasons. You're given like incredible opportunities. You guys are so nice. Getting content, hanging out with cool people, playing music like that most of the time doesn't actually happen.
and that's why what kind of brought me to that about Austin Giorgio is he said the same thing you just said about connecting to
Mhm.
people and writing music to connect to people, and he had those same stories in literally a podcast I was doing. I mean, he started like getting really emotional about this one back and forth that he had with somebody that a song touched him a certain way
Yeah.
or helped them get through something very serious. And I think a lot of people don't realize when you put yourself out on social media, period, you hear about, oh, there's a lot of haters out there, but there's also a lot of like people that are relying on just reaching out to try to get something back.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
on a person that's putting it out there. And especially as a musician and artist that wrote the song, wrote the lyrics, and don't know how people are going to take it. And then all of a sudden people are like reaching out to you with that. A lot of people would just be like, oh, I don't know what to say. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a this. I'm not responding to that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I don't know what
But
I'm going to do.
it's like the biggest compliment in the world.
It is.
You know?
It really is. When you've got a person that expresses any level of emotion that your song helped them through or connect to in any way, shape, or form, it's you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
That you're living the way you should be living because that's what you were here for.
Damn right.
So I love it. So what's next as far as song releases, albums, no albums? Like, what's the magic pixie dust to try to get to be the greatest artist that's ever played on stage?
There you go. Well, so right now I'm releasing. So I just released a new song called "Her." I have one coming out, called "Weren't the One." That's coming out on September 9th, and basically like doing a new single every basically 4 to 6 weeks, and I'm not going to stop that until it kind of like because I've just always looked up to artists.
Is that what the music industry is saying is kind of the template of way to do it, or is this just like that's what I'm doing?
Well, I've done like I'm as much of like an artist and like deep thinker and that of a person I am. I'm also like very like strategic when it comes to things.
Yep.
And like I think that because of trying so many different things, I've like learned a lot of like what has worked and all that stuff. And like even like researching like on Spotify, like their quarterly reports of like what is the algorithm like?
Yep.
You know, and it's 4 to 6 weeks it releases, and you have a better chance of doing certain things. And also I think that like building trust in your whatever fans, followers, listeners, like is allowing them to know, hey, like I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like if you're not going anywhere as a listener, I'm not going anywhere as an artist. And we're going on this journey because what I want my music to symbolize and to be for people is like what a Tom Petty or Bruce Springsteen, which are lifelong artists that people at whatever age, whether you're 16 or 58, can be like, I'm going to listen to this guy.
I'm glad you said 4 years older than me. So I got 4 more years.
You're in. You got 4 years, then you're screwed.
Left of Eddie. So here's what I absolutely love about your music, and the reason why I stalked you to try to get you to connect and get here is because I absolutely love your music.
Thank you.
I love your sound. I love your vibe. I could grab onto the authenticity of who you were.
Thank you.
As much as you're a free spirit, and I'm like, he's legitimately a free spirit. Like he's not faking it. He's not this. And I connect to the music, and I'm going to say it right now. I don't think your music is music somebody will outgrow.
Thank you.
I think your music is, not age specific. And I think it will stay. Like, I'm going to listen to the songs that you have out now, 15 years from now. Like, I'm an 80s music lover, right?
Yeah.
That is the way I look at your music, where people that listen to it, this isn't a decade world anymore for music genre. It really doesn't feel that way. It's all over the place. And I feel like your music is going to just stand the test of time. And I think, yes, you'll grow as an artist. In some cases, I think you might only be the one that realizes that you're growing as an artist because it might come easier. You might do things differently. But I think your music is going to be so much of a connection to people that it's just going to always be there.
Thank you.
And this is a tough.
That's a massive compliment.
I mean it. I'm not. I wouldn't say that if I didn't mean it. And plus, it's out there for the rest of everybody's lives to see. But and I don't say this on every podcast because honestly, it's one of those things where either an artist has that in all of their music, or they've gotten a couple really good songs. And boy, I hope you get a couple more someday. But every song that you play, every song that you put out there is a song that I'm like, banger, great song, love it. So, best of luck in everything that you do. You've got to stay part of the Interstate Music family. I mean,
heck yeah,
like you're stuck. You're gonna get invited for Thanksgiving and all that. And thanks for being on the podcast, and thanks for playing the Interstate Music stage, man.
You're the man. Appreciate you.
It's good stuff. This is Jeff Peterson. This is Eddie Eberly, Eddie in the Getaway.
There we go.
And this was the Interstate Music podcast. So download, do like all this, and
Boom.
like download, stream, share. Help this guy go.
There we
it's Up
go.
to you, it's up to you guys. It's not just up to him. All right, we're out.